We've all got that one map that causes us to immediately server hop whenever it gets voted. For me, these maps are Mall Revamp, and Crane Site Revamp, but it can be different for you. You might not like getting railed by shotguns on containers. You might not like the constant two-sided spawn camp that occurs on height. You probably love Warehouse, but you'll be forced out as soon as a Warehouse dweller joins your lobby. And if for some reason you leave immediately when Dust Bowl comes on, you probably kick puppies, but at the end of the day, I don't really care. Whatever it is, everyone has a map that they just can't stand, but there's one map so universally hated that it can literally cut the server's population in half just by being voted, and yet for some reason ends up in the middle of PF's map voting statistics. And that map is, of course, Mirage, one of the most infamous maps in the game. 4 huge buildings with various bridges connecting them, and not much else to speak of. Mirage is enormous, probably the largest map in the game in terms of total surface area. If you've played any amount of Mirage before, you'll know that this means that kill-based game modes like TDM and Kill Confirmed almost never end early. But objective-based game modes like Koth almost always do. This is completely different from other maps where Kill Confirmed games can end in under 6 minutes, while Flare Domination and Hardpoint matches will generally last the whole way through. Ironically, Mirage's highest kill game ever was 160 kills on Kill Confirmed. The only other modes with 100 kill games on Mirage are Hardpoint and TDM. Mirage is undoubtedly hated because it is PF's slowest paced map. It's the most casual a map can get. It's filled with casual players and pretty much no one else. Obviously people will snipe on this map, everyone knows that. The weapons you'll see on Mirage are mainly snipers and DMRs. Some players might also bring a Scar L or an AN-94 as they are very accurate assault rifles that excel at long range, but CQC weapons, like shotguns and PDWs, are rare on non-objective game modes. Let's talk spawns. Now, Mirage actually has relatively safe spawns because they're so easily defended and it takes ages to actually get there. During a typical Mirage game, you can expect half the players on either team to just remain in their spawn for the entire match and just shoot at each other with snipers. However, there's still a few paths you can take to reach the enemy spawn if you're feeling aggressive. The safest and slowest way is to climb down the stairs in your spawn and take the road directly into the enemy building. This route makes you the least vulnerable to autos and shotguns, but going this way takes a long time to reach the enemy side, so it's only really worth doing it if the enemy team is being aggressive on the upper floors. Probably the most common route is this bridge that takes you through the central building. This building contains the hill, all 3 points on Flare Domination, and most of the possible locations for the point on Hardpoint. This building seems extremely important, but when half the enemy team isn't even leaving the building they spawn at for the entire match, then it's really only valuable if you're playing the objective or using a sniper. Once you're here, you can then rush the enemy spawn. This is the most commonly taken route for both teams, as it has most of the objectives and is relatively fast. You'll be seeing far more shotguns and PDWs here than any other line, so you should only go this way if you're using one yourself. The third route is easily the fastest and the most aggressive, but it's extremely risky as well. Located at one point in each of the spawns, there's a rope that you can climb up to get on top of this crane without having to take the ladder. If you're a Phantom, the ladder is located on your side of the map, but it's almost always faster to climb the rope. If you're a Ghost, the rope on your spawn is located on the closest corner to the Phantom's building, which makes this whole path extremely dangerous. Taking the crane as a Ghost will have you running directly in front of enemy snipers, and then you have to super jump into the Phantom side building. Like I said before, this route is extremely risky, especially as a Ghost, but pulling it off correctly will put you in a perfect position to cause serious trouble for the enemy team. As a Phantom, this is still dangerous, but the enemy team might be distracted by the snipers on your team, which should give you a chance to rush their spawn. Another nice thing about playing Phantoms is that trying to guard this rope as a Ghost is a horrible idea, and will make you a very easy target for snipers on the Phantom side, so the Ghosts usually avoid that and prefer to stay in the top floor of their spawn. As a Phantom, you have this entire building to spawn in. Well, on Ghosts, you have these two. Both teams have a very long rush time to the other spawn, but Phantoms have a significantly safer route that doesn't require them to expose themselves to enemy sniper fire in order to escape their own spawn. This gives Phantoms a very slight advantage over Ghosts, but in general, both teams get equally screwed over on this map. So, Mirage is a slow-paced, enormous map with only a few lanes to engage the enemy team. You might be wondering what redeeming qualities this map has. Well, since the enemy team is going to be focused on engaging your team with snipers, they won't be aware of anyone sneaking into their spawn, and that's exactly why Mirage is the best map for grinding melee kills. If you're able to use positioning and movement to your advantage, getting 50 or more kills in a game using only a melee is terrifyingly easy. Look at my Hattori top game. In the first quarter of the match, I was able to get 23 kills. If I'd kept that pace, I could have ended up with 80 or more kills. Mirage is a map where everyone is spread out, but in order to traverse it, they'll likely have to take the stairs at some point, and stairwells are perfect places for melees. Of course, Mirage isn't the only map with a stairwell. Maul, Crane Sight, and Rig also have stairwells you can use melees on, but the difference is that people play aggressively on those maps and will often pick a PDW or a shotgun, making it quite challenging to get melee kills with those guns around. On Mirage, no one will pay attention to their surroundings. Even if they're smart and use their radar, that won't help when your melee doesn't make any noise. If you want to grind melees but are having trouble with shotguns and PDWs, then just play a map where there are tons of choke points, but no shotgun users taking advantage of them. The only map where you can get nearly as many melee kills as on Mirage is Containers, but shotguns are everywhere on that map, and what's the point in trying to corner camp with a melee when the enemy team is doing the exact same thing with a shotgun? Sure, you can argue that Containers has the highest kill potential of any map in the game, but that's if you're actually using a gun. On Mirage, nobody's gonna consider the possibility of melees, and those who do will likely be too high ranked to play that map in the first place. You might find some success on other maps, but if you want to get an insane KDR using only a melee, you won't be doing that anywhere but Mirage. Even if this video draws attention to the effectiveness of melees on this map, it'll just increase the number of melee users on this map, not the number of shotguns or PDWs. However, while melees are OP on Mirage, you really need to use movement to your advantage here. Your number one threat is always going to be the Glock 18 machine pistol, which most people on Mirage will be running alongside their sniper. Being able to use advanced sliding techniques such as emp sliding and mud sliding are very important, as is being able to position yourself in a way where you can quickly kill enemies without one of them noticing you and deleting you instantly with the Glock 18. Additionally, if the enemy team is very aggressive, it'll be harder to get to the opposite side via the bridges, but if you're able to utilize advanced movement and positioning to avoid getting annihilated by a Glock 18, then it is very easy to top score on this map, even with just a melee. So, is the hate for Mirage warranted? For the most part, yeah. If you're trying to snipe, you've already got a ton of maps that you can get more kills from. Desert Storm, Highway Lock, Crane Sight, Revad Vamp, Dunes, Dust Bowl, Height, even Warehouse, if you're daring enough, are all much more aggressive and fast paced and allow you to get far more kills than Mirage. But despite being an objectively pretty awful map, Mirage can be a really fun time if you're using a melee. And probably the nicest part of Mirage is that it's impossible to fully spawn trap. The spawns for both sides are enormous, and while you can try to be aggressive and push into their spawn, you won't be able to kill everyone without dying to a BFG. As many problems as this map has, its spawns aren't really one of them. Should you go out of your way to play it? Well, unless you're trying to go for a melee record, probably not. But is it the worst map in the game? Absolutely not. You cannot tell me that this map is worse than Containers, let alone Maul and Crane Sight Revamp. Mirage, as much as we hate to say it, has redeeming qualities. Mirage has exactly one niche, and that doesn't necessarily make it good, but it's definitely better than CSR and Maul, which have absolutely nothing going for them. With all that being said, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.